Welcome back to Electrified Reviews. Today, we're going to be checking out the Lynx from ENVO. Now, we've seen similar frames in the industry, but there are a few standout features that help the Lynx stand out. Also, they offer the Lynx in a 16-inch version, but we'll be reviewing the 20-inch version today. Now, the adjustable seat post battery, paired with the telescoping handlebars, means this can fit a pretty good chunk of riders. Now, ENVO claims it should fit riders from 5 foot flat to 6 foot 4, and while I may suggest a different sized bike for our taller 6 foot 4 folks, they would be fairly comfortable here. This rode how you would expect a smaller folding e-bike to ride. It was nimble enough to feel like you've got great control when riding, it has enough power to push the lighter frame up to speed fairly quickly, and when you see a 500 watt motor, you tend to assume it doesn't have that much get up and go, but when you get the controller tuned just right, 500 watts is enough to get it done, even for this speed-loving southerner. Let's talk about the utility. The Lynx comes stock with full fenders, a rear rack, integrated lights, and a front basket. Now, some of the smaller folding e-bikes are missing these types of extras, so it was a nice surprise to see it so feature complete. The rear rack is rated up to 55 pounds, and the front basket, while not showing a clear weight limit, could probably handle another 20 plus pounds. So now we've got this compact, folding e-bike that can also carry 75 plus pounds just in cargo. Usually, you have to give up some of the weight carrying capacity when you get into these smaller folding bikes, but ENVO wanted to retain its utility score here while offering the convenience of folding the Lynx down during transport or non-use. As far as where you can take this bike, well, that's between you and the park ranger. In reality, this isn't a bike that's prepped for too many off-road excursions, but with 20-inch by 2.35-inch CST tires coming with anti-puncture lining, I would feel fairly comfortable taking it off-road in short spurts. However, it'll be at home on the streets. It would be easy to pack this thing up into an SUV or RV and travel around the campground or into the city without having to utilize a car. Now, several RVers that I know have been leaving their cars at home, choosing to swap them out for e-bikes. And that's not going to work for everyone, but it is something I'm seeing become more common. And with the carrying capacity here, it seems like the Lynx is ready for that role. When it comes to safety, the Lynx hits most of the things we'd want to see. It's got an integrated front light, which is common. It has a small, non-integrated taillight and an additional large reflector in the rear rack. It would be nice to see an integrated rear light in the future, and then that opens us up to the possibilities of getting braking integration or turn signals, both of which would be good safety additions to the platform. No matter what level of pedal assist you're in, with the exception of pedal assist level 0, you get full access to the power by using the throttle. The throttle will take you up to the max speed of 20 miles per hour, which you can also hit while pedaling, utilizing the pedal assist. Now, why is that a safety thing? Well, if you're in traffic, or just around people in general, you may need to punch it to get a faster speed to avoid a collision. If the throttle can't help you go faster than you are currently going, you could run into some issues. Literally run into, you know what I mean? There are a few other safety things that I'd like to point out as well. We've got single locking grips, which are always a plus. We get puncture protection on the tires, which we mentioned, but we would love to see some sidewall reflective stripes to help with the low light visibility. The brakes are mechanical Shimano brakes, and while we would love to see hydraulic brakes in the future, they worked really well and brought the Lynx to a grinding halt when desired. They even completely stopped the bike from going down a significant incline, so other than just wanting hydraulic brakes, nothing really to complain about. The Lynx 500 watt motor worked well here. Everyone thinks they need 750 watt motors, and that's just not the case for most people. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd take a 750 watt motor 9 times out of 10, but that's just because my use case is different than yours. Or it might be. I don't know you. That being said, the power of the Lynx is toned down to fit the demographics. It has a pretty slow power curve, but it seems to accelerate at a nice even keel across all levels of pedal assist. Sometimes we'll see a bike that takes literally almost forever to reach the top speed, and that's annoying, if you ask me. The Lynx ramps up to 20 miles per hour pretty evenly, which was nice to see. We don't get substantial motor noise, but you aren't exactly hiding the fact that you have a motor either. The battery has about 460 watt hours, which should get you around 25 miles on the low end and 45 miles on the high end. Now that depends on a ton of factors, but those are some good estimates. Based on my riding, using the throttle pretty often as I like to do, I'd probably get around 20 miles or so at 220 pounds. Having the battery double as the seat post is definitely a look. Some may like it, some may not, but the ease of removing the battery is a pretty good pro in my opinion. You do have to get pretty low to unscrew the battery connection, but having access to the battery charging port just under the saddle is a great option for those that don't need to remove the battery while charging. Overall, I enjoyed the ride feel and carrying capacity on the Lynx. It's not going to win any races, but if you're looking for a portable e-bike with a smooth power curve and the ability to take 75 plus pounds around with you, the Lynx seems to hit that right on the money. It comes almost feature complete, just missing that integrated rear light, and the attachable light they send is fine, but we'd love to see some integration here on the rear light. if we're getting nitpicky, and I guess that's what we're supposed to do, I would love to see an updated display and maybe a more comfortable saddle. The display would be a harder after purchase upgrade, but swapping out the saddle, super easy, and you could pretty much put on any saddle you wanted to. Then we get to the price. The Lynx comes in at $1,600, which puts it firmly in the affordable category for us, which is just anything under $2,000. And in our opinion, it's a fairly reasonable ask for what you're getting here on the Lynx. ENVO isn't trying to upsell you on fenders or the racks and all that sort of stuff. They said, hey, people might want to use this, let's throw it in the bike. And so you get all of that in one nice package. And going back to the assembly bit, super easy to assemble. Very little to do compared to most e-bikes that you get direct to consumer. So we covered some of the specs, showed off the bike a little bit, but let's head outside for the ride test. All right, guys, we are out here for the ride test on the Lynx from ENVO. As you can see, it does come as sort of the full package. Got the light up here. We also get this cool little strap that goes around the basket for keeping things in here. You know, it's not going to do everything you need to do, right, if you had a bunch of loose stuff up here, but it is nice to have a strapping mechanism up here. Which is pretty dope. They also give us plenty of cabling up front, so you see there's not an issue with turning it, which you can kind of run into with some of these front baskets. So it's nice that they're paying attention to that when they decide to offer the front basket. Then we got the rear rack back here, and as you can see, it is a little bit longer. I think it's deceptively longer than I initially thought, because it looks like similar bikes that are a little bit smaller, but when you sort of extend this frame out a little bit, you get the 20-inch wheels on here. It does kind of feel like a full piece, but it's also, you know, it's a little bit lighter, it's portable, it's foldable, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and hop on here, do a little riding. Now you do have some pretty good adjustments as far as what you can do with the saddle, and then up here in the front, you know, obviously we can bring this way up here if we wanted to. Probably bring it up a little bit. Let's see what this angle looks like on the camera here. Yeah, that should do. Go ahead and get out our secondary GPS here. And let's go ahead and rock and roll. Now, first thing to do, let's test it. We got it in pedal assist level 0. Let's see if the throttle works. It doesn't, so that's a nice little safety feature here. We also have locking grips, just the one locking mechanism right here on the inside. It was hard to tell because it blends in so well with the grip. If you just look at pictures, it's kind of hard to tell if it is locking or not, but it is. It does have 2 screws in here to lock this down, which is a good safety feature as well. So, throttle doesn't work. Let's go ahead and pedal this as if it were a bike. And you know, honestly, it is not too bad to pedal as a bike. Even though I have the seat up a little bit, I probably would put the seat up a little bit higher if I was looking for sort of that primo cycling geometry, but this is not too shabby. Well, let's go ahead and put it in pedal assist level 1. Keep our pedal in here. And that looks like it's going to put us at about 15 kilometers per hour. Go ahead, pedal assist level 2. It's going to get us to about that 18, 19, 20 kilometers. 3. Start to get a little bit more power coming out of the motor once you kind of get into that pedal assist level 3. 4. Feel it kicking up a little bit more. And 5. Gonna get us to our top speed. Well, let's go ahead and do a little brake here first. So brake's nice and easy. Let's go ahead and get some speed over here. Now, I'm not sure if the frame rates are matching up perfectly, but we are starting out a little bit low on battery. So this is by no means going to be a range test. We're just going out here getting a feel for the bike, checking to see how nimble it is, what the comfort level's like. Nimbleness is actually really nice. Get some really good control over it. So let's go ahead and put in pedal assist level 1. The next thing we want to check, and this is somewhat of a preference, somewhat of a safety thing, is we're in pedal assist level 1, right? So that's going to get us to 14 kilometers per hour, whatever we decided it was. And if I hit the throttle, am I gonna be forced to stay at that speed? Does my pedal assist control the speed of the throttle? Well, let's find out. We just hammer this down. And it does not. So even though we're in pedal assist level 1, we shouldn't be going this fast. The throttle is gonna allow us to get up to a higher speed so we can kind of keep rocking and rolling. And that throttle will take us up to 32 kilometers per hour, and it'll sustain there. Go ahead and do a brake test real quick. Oh yeah, super easy. Super easy. Now normally when we see mechanical brakes, we'll make a comment about it like, oh, I wish we had hydraulics, etc., etc. And I would still probably say like, yeah, it'd be nice to have hydraulics. Those are what I would like to see on a bike, but the mechanical brakes here do a really good job. We've got those nice sized rotors, and it seems to be tuned really well. Now we haven't tuned this at all, so we popped this out of the box. We did the little bit of assembly that's required to put this thing together, and then we're riding it. So this is hopefully going to be your out of the box experience if you choose to buy one of these, you want to assemble yourself, etc. It's just, yeah, it was super simple. You know, there are some companies like Electric Bike Company, I think is a good example. When you buy a bike from them, you know, they ship it on a pallet. All you've got to do is adjust the stem. The stem's just like twisted. I think the handlebars are like down. So all you have to do is loosen a couple bolts, put it in the right position, boom, and you're good to go. Now with this one, there's a little bit more to do, but it wasn't like some of those other, you know, bigger bikes, especially those kind of fat tire e-bikes that we're used to getting, where we have to assemble, you know, pretty much all of it. So the assembly experience here was pretty easy, and right out of the box it's riding pretty well. Now the next thing we want to test to see if we get any ghost pedaling. So we'll go to our top speed here. I don't think so. This is feeling really good so far. Yeah, so we're hitting our 32 kilometers per hour, which is 20 miles per hour for all you Yanks over there. Over here, I guess. Yeah, no ghost pedaling whatsoever. It's a good cadence to be going 20 miles per hour with. So that's nice. Now when it comes to the pedals, as I'm experiencing this, I'm talking about the things that I'm feeling. If it were me and I didn't need sort of that lateral space, I'm thinking about like folding it up or doing this, that, and the other, I would probably look to get something that was a little bit wider, probably non-folding. That's just my personal preference. I got wider feet, I want a wider pedal. It feels, yeah, it just doesn't feel like I'm getting the best connection with the bike having these, smaller folding pedals. If you need the space, having folding pedals is a great option. If you got smaller feet, you probably won't care, but for me, that's one of those things that I would probably always switch out to get some new pedals. Not to mention, if you're really going to customize a ride, you can pick out a different color than black, right? You want to do blue grips, blue saddle, blue whatever, you can do it all. You can do it all. And let this guy scoot on forward a little bit. So let's talk about the height adjustment. Like I said, I could probably bring this up a little bit more, so let's go ahead and do that. Pretty easy adjustment here. Now there are some minimum insertion lines. It looks like we're still up quite a bit, so that's awesome. That's probably a decent pedaling geometry for me. And then just for the camera, let's go ahead and bring this up. Oh, that's past the minimum insertion distance. Always double check that, folks. There we go. Let's leave it right about there. And let's keep skedaddling. Oh yeah. How's that looking on the camera here? Pretty nice. Yeah, this is, for me, this is a pretty much perfect geometry. Knees are still slightly bent. Hands are in a nice relaxed position. Yeah, I could cruise like this for a while. Now we come to our favorite overpass. Let's go ahead and test those brakes. Going down, pick up a little bit of speed, and then we'll slow ourselves down. Oh yeah, that's easy. Even on this, incline. We're still stopping the bike really nice. Let's go ahead and pop into first gear here. Do a little turnaround. And plus this level 5. And let's go ahead and hit this hill here. You know, that wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't like I was flying up the hill or anything, but definitely was helping me get up the hill. Because if you do it on a traditional bike, you got like a, 1x11 on there, that thing is quite difficult to get up. So the fact that we've got that squared away is awesome. Again, I'm barely putting in any effort, just pretty much just regular pedaling, and we got up there okay. Now, this isn't a bike that you want to take off-roading, right? Not really designed for that, not prepped for it, but what if you got to take it off-road? What are you going to do? Well, let's do that on the off-road test, which is the test where we take this thing off-road. So let's pop in right over here, and we'll just take it down here and see what happens. Feeling pretty confident that it'll be fine. Now this is sort of a loamy type of trail here. Shout out to the Lone Wolf crew. And we can just skedaddle around. Now, being this high up in this sandy terrain without, a more aggressive tread is a little bit unnerving. You can feel the bike getting a little squirrely. But like I said, if you were, on a gravel path, this wouldn't be an issue. But if you're looking to tackle some serious like sandy terrain like we're on right now, then this isn't necessarily the ideal setup for that. Let's avoid the giant sinkhole, which I assumed would have gotten fixed by now, but here we are. All right. Everything looks a-okay so far. Again, hitting sort of this loamy, sandy business. Over a tree stump, some roots. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, so let me go down here. We'll hit the jump. We'll really put it to the test. I'm just kidding. You definitely tell there's not any suspension on it. Oh. Whew, but we made it. Phone almost didn't make it though. There we go. And we are almost out of the woods. Woohoo! So if you find yourself in a spot where you need to, traverse some trail, you can do it. But not, like I said, not what the bike was designed for. So we're in pedal assist level 5. As we're kind of running out of battery here, pedal on back to the house. Get into that gear so we don't have any ghost pedaling. It's a very, very pleasant riding experience. When I was talking with ENVO, they basically, telling me about the company, how they started, and ENVO was started by engineers, basically, not like a business person who hired engineers. They seemed like they were engineers who became business people, and starting a company and stuff. So certain things like having the right gearing in the back so we don't have any ghost pedaling, it makes a lot of sense based on who this company is. And yeah, so far I am digging it. Obviously it folds up real nice. It's easy to maneuver. It's fairly light. We get decent range on here. The huge, 75 plus pound cargo carrying capacity we have access to. There is just a lot of stuff to like about the bike. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it with you guys. What do you think about the bike? Got any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions for the next version? Which is usually how I, frame cons on bikes. It's like, hey, they kind of miss with this, but on the next version of the bike, they can make this product better for everybody if they do, you know, X, Y, Z. So if you got any ideas, let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, that is going to do it for our review of the Lynx from ENVO. If you want to know more about them, I'll have a link to them down in the description. And if you guys have any questions for us, you can either let us know in the comments here on YouTube or the comments over at our website, where you can check out the full specs. You can check out some extra pictures. You can also compare it with other bikes in the industry over there at electrifiedreviews.com. Thanks for riding with us, and we'll catch you on the next one.